It is a good day because we have another powerhouse company that has entered the foldable space to compete with one of the most popular foldable bikes out there. And competition is good because it inspires companies to make better bikes at more affordable prices. Big thumbs up there. Now, the reason why I call these guys a powerhouse company is, well, because they are. They produce a lot of bikes. But like I said, this is their first foldable. And once you know it, it is the exact same price as this. The Lectric XP 3.0, which is $1,200. As I was checking out the stats between both bikes, I noticed there was 5 things that separated the two. And so that's what I want to focus the review on, to see how Velotric's first foldable competes with the XP 3.0. Let us begin. Well, the first thing I like to start off with is power. Because power is good. Velotric has a 750 watts. Lectric has a 500 watts. I want to know which goes faster. And in order to do that, you got to dive into the advanced settings. And the reason why I'm diving into the advanced settings is because Lectric ships this as a class 2 e-bike, which means that it only tops out at 20 miles per hour. To change that, hold down the plus and minus. P8 is where you want to be at. And there's 2 options. You have 32 and 100. And that sets a bike to either 20 miles per hour or 28. With Velotric, you have a few more options. On this one, the bike has to be off. Then you hold the power button and plus button for 30 seconds. Once it turns back on, you're in the speed setting. And so here you can set it to a minimum of 12 miles per hour or a max of 28. So just in recap, Lectric, you can only do 20 or 28 for the top speed. Velotric, you can go from 12 up to 28. So if you like options, this one's gonna give them to you. Lectric's topping out at 30 miles an hour. Little motor, kicks butt. I'm gonna take that bike on the same road and see if I can hit the same speed. And that is 29 for Velotric. Well, that is pretty dang close. It actually said 29.5, so Lectric just is a hair faster. Now, one more thing about speed is that you can only hit the top speed when you're pedaling. If you're using the throttle, you can only hit 20 miles per hour. Where with Velotric, when you set it to that higher speed, you got full power in the pedals and with the throttle, which is what I personally prefer. I want to have access to all that raw power
in the grip of my hand.
The second thing I noticed between the two is the torque. The Velotric has 70, the Lectric has 55. So you got a lot more torque with the Velotric, and it's also lighter. It only weighs 63 pounds. The Lectric weighs 64 pounds. Just a pound difference between the two, but I guess when it comes to lightweight bikes, every pound matters. So that's what my wife tells me. So let's do an acceleration test, see which one is faster off the line. For this test, I'm just gonna use the throttle. The Velotric has got a very nice thumb throttle. The Lectric has your traditional half twist throttle. That was pretty close, but if I had to guess, I would go with the Lectric. So it's interesting, you have a much smaller motor, a lot less torque, but for whatever reason, it's a little bit faster and a little stronger off the line. I'm not a physicist, but to me, it don't make too much sense. Okay, it's time for number 3. The third difference I've noticed was battery. And the first thing I want to talk about is where they're at. In the Lectric, you have an internal battery. In order to access it, you of course have to break it apart. And once you do, you just slide it out. I got the battery. The Velotric's battery is a little bit easier to get to. Just pop off the saddle, put the key in, turn it, and I should just slide out. There we go. Now the Lectric, you have a 14 amp hour, and Velotric, you have 13. So it would make sense that the range with this would be longer, and guess what? It is. You got 65 with Lectric and 55 with Velotric. And then when you're done riding, you can use them as weights. The fourth difference is the frame design. The Velotric is easier to mount with a step-through design. And they say on their website, the clearance here is 20% lower than most step-through bikes. That's just 15.5 inches. And then Lectric is a step-over bike. I think I pulled a groin muscle. Now both bikes, you can adjust the handlebar height. With the Lectric, all the way down, all the way up. Velotric, all the way down, and all the way up. Handlebar height is a little bit higher with Lectric than Velotric. As far as rider size, they're pretty close. The Lectric is from 4'10" to 6'5". The Velotric is from 4'9" to 6'5". Now, as far as riding capacity, there's where you have a big difference. The Lectric can carry a rider up to 330 pounds. The Velotric can carry somebody up to 440 pounds. That can't be right. 440? Yeah. That's what I have on my notes. Now, not only can they carry a lot of weight, the racks can also carry a lot of weight. On the Lectric, the rack is welded to the frame and can carry 150 pounds. Back to the Velotric, the rack is also welded to the frame and can carry 120 pounds. Now let me flip these around to talk about the fifth difference. And I bet you're just on pins and needles. on what that could possibly be. And that's the suspension. On the Velotric, you have suspension coil. You got 60 millimeters of travel, but it's pretty cheap suspension and pretty easy to bottom out. But you can lock that out. On the Lectric, you have oil suspension, and I could still bottom out on it, but it's a little bit harder to do that. And you can also lock this out. Now I want to talk about the similarities. Both have hydraulic brakes. They both have 20 by 3-inch punch-resistant tires. They both have a headlight, and they both have a 7-speed shifter. Lectric is one of your more basic shifters. Velotric is a trigger style, much better than that. Now I want to go for a ride and talk about a few things that I didn't like with the Velotric. It is that time in the video. Prepare yourselves. Actually, there's only one thing that I didn't like, and you gotta listen carefully to hear it. Wait for it. Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but you got some cracking in the stem. If you guys know me, you know I just don't like any noises when going for a ride. To wrap up, I want to talk about a few more things that I did like, and that's the hill climbing ability. I took this to one of the steepest hills in the area a couple days ago, and I was able to make it up over a 20% grade. Bike did everything, I just kept the pedals turning. The second thing is the warranty. They got a 2-year warranty compared to a 1-year warranty with Lectric. All right, so how do I think it held up to the Powerhouse brand of Lectric? Thought it actually did pretty dang good. I had high expectations for this, and they were met. So I'm impressed. I thought Velotric did an awesome job with the Fold 1. If you want to check out one of my favorite bikes I've done from these guys, I'll have it up here on the screen. So go check that out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.